That's good. Over the trees. Choked it. So if there's one request that we've had through YouTube, social media, as far as videos, is new lake breakdown. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're going to a lake that I've never been to. I know zero about it. Literally gonna go fishing and see if we can break it down. We're gonna try to teach it as we do it. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do, you know, just with the phone. You know, look at Google, which I did for maybe 5 minutes. Look at Active Captain, you know, look at the mapping, that kind of stuff. You know, a lot of guys, they may look at like fishing videos. I choose not to do that because of, you get preconceived notions, and I want none of that. I really like going to new lakes because it's new. I don't know what's there. I would actually prefer to go to a new lake than a lake I've been to. So we're gonna go through all of that, you know, breaking it down. And what I think you'll learn is it's not as complex as what a lot of people think it is. So stay tuned. We had to drive a ways because obviously we had to go to a lake I've never been to. So we had to drive a ways. I've been to a lot. So we're here, never been here, like I said, and literally gonna put the boat in. We found a boat ramp. There's only one truck, so just from the looks of it, I mean, it looks really good. A lot of stuff up on the bank, and one thing I can say is when you go to somewhere new, is start with the things that you have confidence in. I'm gonna get a frog out, a swim jig, you know, something to flip with. I'm not gonna go to a new lake that I've never been to and you know, start with something crazy, drop shot or anything like that. But yeah, it looks really good. It's September, so there's probably gonna be a little bit of fish everywhere. It could be tough, but we're gonna find out no matter what, whether it's tough, good, somewhere in between. You have to break it down. And the only way you start with that is to put this thing in the water. Get out there, put this thing in the water and start learning something. So pretty excited. So the only thing I think that you have to bring to a new lake is your experience of fishing. You know, you have to, you can't, for instance, you can't go out in January and pick up a buzzbait and just take off. Like, you have to have a little bit of experience and stuff like that. So September, you know, what we're gonna look for is, to start with anyway, we wanna learn something about the lake, and we wanna learn it as fast as we can. So I want to fish stuff that's you know, got some wind on it, maybe some current coming in, like, you know, a river feeding it. We're looking for bait. In September, you're looking for bait, probably first and foremost. But, you know, not being here, you wanna start, you know, you're like, what's over there? Is it better over there? Like, the most important thing, the thing I do first at every new lake is I literally pick an area, a creek, a big creek arm, or an area of the lake, because you don't want to fish the whole lake in one day. You want to pick an area and break it down first, and then tackle the entire lake. And by doing that, I can't stress this enough, you just put the trolling motor down. I mean, we have to go somewhere and put the trolling motor down and fish and learn something. You know, you can learn a lot by looking, but I mean, I don't know if there's 10 pounders in here, 2 pounder is a good one. I have no idea. We're gonna have to do all this by fishing and learning. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go over here, get on the windiest bank that we can find, which is not a lot right now, pull out some confidence baits, and take off. Same thing if we were fishing an Elite Series event, I would be doing the same thing. So the first thing you know, just in driving, we drove a couple miles, and the bank is just loaded with cover, from water willow to lily pads. I don't know if there's any submerged grass. I haven't been up there yet. You got standing timber everywhere. And the most important thing is the watercolor. It looks like maybe a foot visibility, which tells me that there should be some fish shallow. If it was, you know, 6 or 7 foot visibility, I'd probably, you know, start in these trees out here. But having some color in it and having all that vegetation and knowing what I like to do, which is frog, flip, that's where we're gonna start what I'm most comfortable. I can look at that water willow and say, I have fished that on the Arkansas River hundreds of times. I know how to fish that. I know how to fish lily pads. So I'm gonna take what I know and I try to apply it here. Is it gonna work? I have no idea. But there's actually a big creek right here, and then a really long flat. What that's gonna give me is a lot of like points to fish, some pockets, the main creek. So I wanna pick somewhere to start that has some variety and see if we can get some bites and put together a pattern as if we were fishing a tournament tomorrow, or if I wanted to come back and fun fish, you know, another day. We're just trying to put together, we wanna learn about the lake and break it down. That's what we're doing in the video. We want to break it down and see what it has. But it looks really, really good. There's a lot of little things that a guy can pick up on. So first of all, you know, I'm looking at the water and it's, gosh, 8 inches visibility. So my question is this water always like this? Or is it, you know, is it dirty from a rain or something like that? And a good way to tell is like, look at your vegetation here, like this water willow and stuff. You know, that's 2 foot right there. Out there is a bed of grass that looks like, I mean, it's deeper. It's 3.5, so the water has to be pretty clear for that stuff to grow that deep. So I'm saying that it's dirtier than it normally is, which might be good. It might move some of these fish that typically like to live out in the middle up on the bank. Gosh, there's just so much, there's so much stuff. And that can be good and it can be bad, because you can just, you know, where do you start, where do you end? But that's what we need to do. Even though there's a lot of stuff, there's got to be a key to it. You know, are they on the points? Are they on places where the pads meet the grass? Are they in the pads? Are they on the trees? There's so many different things, and we got to figure that out. One thing you're going to notice, you know, whenever I'm in scout mode, is just kind of hitting the high spots. You know, I'm not going every, you know, 12 inches. I'm just hitting the high percentage stuff first, just to see if we can get a bite. We got to cover water. Now we get to something that I just, you know, you get a gut feeling, man, that looks good, like that point that extends out up there with wind and stuff on it. We might slow down a little bit, but for now, you know, it's all about covering water. And I think some of the guys, you know, that are really good at fishing consistently, I think that's what they're good at, is breaking down a lake quickly in practice. I mean, we get 2 to 3 days sometimes, and just guys that are able to just break it down quickly. And I'd like to name a few of them, but I'm not going to. They just know, and they have confidence in what they're doing. But we're moving quick until we get a hint, see some bait, get a bite, just moving, looking. trying to get a bite. And you know, you learn things by not getting a bite too. So, you know, I mean, if we go 2 hours up here in this grass and we don't get a bite, we've learned that if this lake has a population of fish in it, they're probably not in the grass. We probably need to get out there, you know, in the timber or on a channel swing or something else. So, just has so much stuff on the bank. You would think there has to be, and the time of year, there has to be some fish up there shallow. Yeah. Kind of my thought is, in that wind, you know, that swim jig ought to draw a bite. We'll get over here where it's calmer and kind of throw the old frog around and just a little more natural looking. It's weird because the water looks dirty, but it's really not. You can see a foot. A foot or so. First bite. Now, a bite is not a pattern, all right? Sometimes I'm weary because it can be the one bite that leads you in the wrong direction. So you just got to take a few hints. Number one, he was aggressive. Like he wanted to eat. So you know, that opens a lot of things up. If it continues, you know, maybe a buzz bait or something that they're a lot more aggressive. If he would have just come up and just, you know, got the bait or missed the bait, really didn't want it, then we may go, I just heard one buzz somewhere. Then we may, you know, think more about flipping or something like that, but that's just the first bite. But he was just in that little old pad field there, which is actually a cool place because you think about it, like over there, everything's kind of matted and congested. Right there, that wind and water can move in and out. So there's probably a little bit of moving water coming through there, but this is an area I've seen some bait, you know, back 50 yards. So it's the first time I've seen some bait, but it's a good sign. We haven't been fishing for 15 minutes and we got a bite. You know, if there's one piece of information that I would like to know, if I had my choice of everything going to a new lake, it would be the weights that it takes to win tournaments. Because then you know what if it takes 25 pounds, then that fish means nothing. If it takes 12 pounds, then, you know, we got a bite, and you know what I'm saying on that deal. But you know, if going to a new lake, if I'll look and just see, all right, what did it take to win this tournament? What did it take to win that tournament? That way you kind of got an idea of what you're looking for. Now see, we get a bite now. Heard another one blow up. I'm gonna slow down a little bit right here and just see if that was one fish or there's a little concentration of them. Kind of hard in pads, you know, to really talk about breaking it down, because I just feel like in pads you don't have a whole lot of choices to throw. I mean, frog, you know, swim jig some, flip. It's not like you can jerk bait, crank bait, or things like that. So we've been fishing about 30 minutes now, and I've thrown a frog more than anything, and you're probably thinking, well, why don't you try another bait? Well, the stuff that we've been in, we just don't have a lot of options. I don't want to take off flipping until I learn more, until I find a concentration, and it's just the weather. You know, we've been consistently warm, and I would think, you know, just off experience, that those fish would suck into those pads. If it was windy and cloudy, I'd probably be more leaning toward this water willow, you know, just this clean water willow that's in front of us, but we're gonna try it. I mean, that's the thing is, that's the cool thing about somewhere new is you're open-minded. You know, trolling motor down and just fishing, throwing in 6 inches of water, everything. So sometimes you just don't have, a lot of bait options. And you know, I'd throw that swim jig more in this, but we don't have any wind. I feel like with that grass being that deep, if that frog's up there, they ought to come and get it. But we're gonna, if anything, we're gonna rule it out. So I just laid the old buzz bait down after 5 or 6 casts. It just doesn't feel right, you know what I mean? And you get out here, I mean, we have flat calm, no wind, high sun. I just don't feel like they're gonna be, you know, in the sparse stuff and really, really aggressive. Maybe in the afternoon, but not right now. So we're gonna kind of stick with kind of the thicker stuff on the bank for now, frogging. I am gonna, so earlier, you know, whenever I started throwing swim jig, I was like, I want the white one. Well, now that I've been fishing, you got a foot, 18 inches. So I'm gonna tie my green pumpkin back on. I haven't seen a perch yet, but green pumpkin just looks a lot more natural with it being so calm. I just like that moon's getting full, and these old shallow pockets like this, and more brim will get up there and spawn. Oh, God, well, we finally got another bite. It's actually been, an hour or so. And I really don't think it's where we've been fishing that's bad. I think that it was sunny and just slick. And you know, we didn't start fishing until like 9 o'clock, and that 9 to 11 can be tough. So we came back into a pocket. This pocket's literally like a foot deep everywhere. We were just talking about how, like this time of year, the moon's getting full and there could be some brim up here trying to spawn, and literally like the second cast in here, we get a bite. So I'm gonna untangle this mess and see. So we've had 2 frog bites, and then you have to ask yourself, well, is the fishing tough, or are we just not around them yet? We need to change. And I really, in my gut, I just think the wind's just now starting to blow a little bit. I think the fishing is just tough. I mean, I think it's tougher. I think they're gonna bite. I think we're gonna catch them, but I just don't think it's been good yet for the way that we fished so far.